Sixth, your last day at school. Points. Introduction. Scene in the hall of the school. Your feelings. Conclusion. The memory of my last day at school fills my mind with feelings at once sweet and sad. I had been in this institution for 6 years, so it had been the spring of my early dreams, and the ties I had developed there seemed to be unbreakable. As I think of that last day, I am at a loss how to express myself properly. It is just 1 month ago that we received a call from our headmaster to attend the school for our admit cards from the Board of Secondary Education. Accordingly, I went there at 12 noon. The other boys of my class sent up for the examination had also arrived. We assembled in the school. All the teachers also were present there. Soon after, our assistant headmaster took up the admit cards from the table and handed them to us all. Then the headmaster gave us his blessings in a voice almost choked with emotion. He advised us not to get nervous or noisy in the examination hall, even if some of the questions would seem difficult. We should carefully revise our answers and see that our names and roll numbers were put on the cover pages of the answer scripts. Particular emphasis was laid on our not taking any unfair means in the examination hall. Some of the other teachers showered their blessings on us. Their words and voice showed how sincere their feelings were. No doubt our school was well known as a good one, proud of its teachers and their relationship with the students. But the present atmosphere was so emotional that some of us could not help tears gathering in their eyes. Then came the turn of the captain of our class to express our feelings of gratefulness to our teachers. He assured them that we were always conscious of what we had received at school and would spare no pain to prove worthy of them in afterlife. Page 722. We then went up to the teachers individually to touch their feet in obeisance. The memory of that day still cheers and inspires me to prove worthy of the love and trust of my teachers. 7th, students and social service. Points. Social service, its necessity, especially in modern India, how students can participate in it, caution, it develops their power of organization, widens their sympathy and makes of them useful citizens. Man is a social animal. This means he cannot live alone. He lives in a society consisting not only of his own family but also of some other families, and the peace and happiness of each individual depends to a great extent upon what he gets from the other members of his society. So we are all indebted to the one another in some form or other. Thus arises the duty of social service, the duty of paying back a part of our debts by doing some service to society. The students have an important role to play in this respect. They have idealism and great energy. This is why they are the first to come forward in works of social service. In modern India, social service is a must for our students. The common people here suffer from a great number of ills: illiteracy, bad customs and superstitions, ignorance of the laws of health and their rights and duties, etc. Our students can do a lot to remove these ills by educating the people in the proper way. They may conduct night schools and instruct the ignorant about their country's history, moral values, evils of superstition, need of cooperation, laws of health and social life, duties as citizens, etc. They may help in the construction of roads and clearing of ponds and ditches in their locality. They may even help the authorities in their fight against illegal hoarding and rowdyism. In cases of floods and some other calamities, they should volunteer for relief work. Their work and examples, inspired by idealism, cannot but be more effective than the words of official and advice of village elders. But students should see that their activities are kept within proper bounds and do not degenerate into a type of rowdyism and indiscipline. All these activities, properly directed, will not only benefit the people, they will also do a great deal of good to the students themselves. They will develop their spirit of service and power of organization, widen their sympathy, and thus enable them to become worthy members of society. 8th. Students and politics. Points. The primary duty of students: knowledge of political matter versus active politics, the latter often a dirty game and hence injurious. Role of political leaders. The student life is the most important period of a man's life. The training a student receives, the habits and qualities he acquires, determine the kind of life he will live in future. If he acquires knowledge and the virtue of strength of mind and character, he is sure to prosper in the world. If, on the contrary, he neglects these primary duties by indulging in undesirable activities, he will surely go to the wall. And active politics is one of such activities for a student. Page number 723. No doubt students, particularly college students, should acquire an accurate knowledge of political matters and form sound views on them. For this, they should be encouraged to discuss political questions freely in the college among themselves and with their teachers and eminent public men of sound views. But when it comes to active participation in what is called political agitation, we must draw the line. Active politics is often a dirty game full of passion and excitement and party feelings. Students are of immature judgment and emotional by nature. So once they get themselves involved in this passion and excitement, they become almost slave to them, like a person addicted to a strong liquor. They allow their opinions, even on academic matters, to be influenced by party considerations. They think nothing of being used as agents and tools in the hands of political parties. They march out in political processions and shout political slogans. All these inevitably interfere with their primary duties and prove injurious to their intellectual and moral growth. Moreover, politics, as distinguished from party politics, is a noble and complex art. It cannot but be lost in dignity if students of imperfect knowledge and immature judgment try to dominate it. We complain of indiscipline and lowering of intellectual and moral standard among our students. These are to some extent due to their political obsession. But the most regrettable part of the affair is the role played by our political leaders in this dirty game. If only they keep aloof from students, the situation will take a turn for the better and students will go back to their normal duties. 9th. The school magazine. Points. What it is, how managed, its usefulness. It gives training in literary composition, develops school patriotism, bond between present and past students, creates interest among guardians. Nowadays, many schools have printed magazine of their own. There are schools that are too small or the students of which are too poor to meet the cost of printed magazines. They bring out manuscript magazines, that is, magazines the contents of which are written by hand. The school magazine contains poems, articles of educational interest, and short stories, all written by the teachers and students of the institution. Editorial notes deal with the general problems of the school and are mostly records of its achievements. activities and wants. The charge of the school magazine rests on a committee consisting of 2 or 3 teachers and a few students' representatives. In some places, the editor is a teacher. In other, he is a senior student of a proven ability. The assistant editors are always chosen from among the students. The expenses are met from a small fee called the magazine fee charged by the school. If there is any deficit, it is met from the school funds. The school magazine serves many useful purposes. The most important is the training it gives to students in literary composition. A student feels proud and happy when he finds his writing in print, but he is too shy at first to come out in the open. When, however, he finds the writings of his friends in the school magazines, he feels tempted to try himself. Page number 724. A little encouragement at this initial stage gives him confidence, and he goes on writing. Gradually, writing comes easy to him. In this way are developed his literary talents. The school magazine also develops school patriotism. It is eagerly read and discussed by all the students of the school admirers, the writers, and get acquainted with those among them and they did not know. In this way, there grows up a feeling of oneness among all the students as if they were members of the same family. It also serves as a bond between the past and the present students of the school. Old boys, that is past students of the institution, sometimes contribute articles to it as a mark of their continuing affection for their old school. Through these contributions, they get into touch with the present students and become almost one of them. Even those who do not write remember the school with all the happy memories of their early days. When a copy of the magazine reaches their hands, distance and age are forgotten, and for the time being at least, they return in their minds to their alma mater. 10th, the library. Point. What it is: general usefulness, different kinds, lending, school and college travelling, special organization, usefulness of reports issued by libraries. A library is a collection of books, but it is generally used in the sense of the place where such collection is kept for use by the public. The number of men who can buy the books they require for their culture is very small. Libraries meet their urgent intellectual need and have therefore come to be regarded as almost indispensable institutions for every society. Not only are more and more libraries being founded everywhere, their organization also has been made a branch of scientific study, resulting in considerable improvement in their usefulness. There are libraries of different kinds. Some are meant for the public. The books here are issued for study at home to anybody who becomes a member on payment of a fixed monthly subscription. There is provision also for free reading rooms where a variety of papers and journals is laid on the table for free study by everybody. School and college libraries are meant only for the teachers and students of the respective institutions. There are also travelling libraries here and there, which means that selected collections of books belonging to a big central library are circulated by turn from place to place. This enables every remote, backward villages that cannot afford to have any libraries of their own to get the benefits of a central library at a distant place. There are also special libraries that particularize in special subjects, such as the Bangya Sahitya Parishad. The organization of the library has been greatly improved in recent years. The old system of indexing books has been replaced in most big libraries by the system of card indexing, which enables the librarian to locate any book at a moment's notice. Every member is given a distinct card, and when he takes away a book, he has to leave his card and the name of the book with the librarian. There is also the open shelf system in some places. Page number 725. Modern libraries also issue occasional reports on the number of books of different kinds taken out. This proves a valuable index to the people's taste and enables the authorities to regulate the system of issue and check the degeneration of the library through an excessive use of light literature. 11th, student life. Points. Seed time of life. Education required. A. Noble aim. B. Character. C. Knowledge. Student life of old, now more complex. Conclusion. The student life is said to be the seed time of life. If we want good crops, the seeds have to be sown at the proper time. Similarly, the student life is the time to prepare oneself for the future. At this stage, the mind is in a fluid state and can be molded into any shape or desire. This is why the student life is the most important part of a man's life, and so much care is taken about giving proper education to students. This education should comprise not only book learning but also proper training of the mind and heart and building up of character. There are a few general principles to be followed to produce the desired results. The first thing necessary is to fix upon a noble aim. Students should bear in mind that man is born with the Spirit of God in him. So it is his duty to be true to this divine spirit, to live and die noble. The most important thing for this is character, the crown and glory of life. To build it up, students should live a strictly disciplined life and never indulge in wicked thoughts. The next thing in importance is acquisition of knowledge, which is the secret of success. Students should study hard to acquire as much knowledge as possible. Otherwise, they will feel quite helpless in the struggle of life. In olden times, a pupil usually lived in the house of his teacher. The strict discipline of this life, away from all evil influences, helped his all-round training. But the majority of students now live in society bound up with the complex forces of the modern world. They have therefore to be more alert than their predecessors. They have to serve not only themselves but also their society and country, and for this they must acquire knowledge and develop a generous spirit and general goodness of heart. In this way alone will they be true to themselves. But they must not dabble in active politics, which is responsible for most of the ills of them nowadays. The student life is the time of preparation for struggle ahead, not the time for actual struggle. A student who follows these general principles is sure to make his mark in life. Page number 726. 12th. The role of students in free India. Points. Importance of students in national life. What the student should do. Must A. Know the country's history. B. Avoid provincialism. C. Serve the poor and ignorant. D. Avoid active politics. E. Cultivate discipline, perseverance and industry. F. Undergo military training. The fate of a country depends on the students. the future citizens of the land. So, it is their duty to prepare themselves thoroughly for their tasks ahead. The students of Free India have to be particularly conscious of the heavy responsibilities that rest on them. They must read of the country's past, of her ancient glories, and the reasons of her fall, and they must take a vow to train themselves so that they may raise their motherland to a position of eminence and respect among the nations of the world. The first thing necessary for this is that they should be Indians not only in name but also in thoughts and deeds. Want of unity was the curse of our country. She never lacked great heroes in the past, but they never came together in the common defense of the motherland. They cared only for the honor of their particular clans or regions. Though we have now a united India under a common banner and common central government, provincial feelings are still very strong in us. Unless these feelings are overcome, there is no knowing how long we shall enjoy our newly acquired freedom. The students have greater opportunity in this respect. Their tender minds are full of idealism. They should direct idealism to the growth of a feeling of common brotherhood among all Indians and the creations of a strong united nation. Our students should also bear in mind that they have a duty to their ignorant and downtrodden countrymen. They should use their holidays in serving them in whatever way they can. This will bring about a thorough change in the country within a short time. Our students should steer clear to active politics because it is harmful to the primary object of their life, attainment of knowledge and development of character, and thus renders them unfit for the struggle of life. Compulsory military training is another duty of our students. We must have an army sufficiently strong to protect our motherland against foreign aggression, but we are too poor to maintain a large standing army. This is why it is necessary for us to have sufficient men in civilian life who may come forward as soldiers, should the occasion arise. As the first step towards compulsory military training, students should join the NCCs in their respective schools and colleges. 13th. The scene in an examination hall. Points. University examination, a terrible experience, the scene in the beginning, at the middle, towards the end, conclusion. University examinations are terrible experience to the students. The candidates do not know if the questions will be easy or stiff. Many are uncertain whether they will pass or fail. Hence, there is an uneasy expectancy among all students taking the examination. On the appointed day, the candidates come in large numbers to the examination center. Page number 727. Some gather in knots and discuss probable questions. Some glance through their notebooks and refresh their memories. Some again stand apart with grave faces. At the gate opens, the candidates rush to take their seats. Some 5 minutes before the schedule of the invigilator enter with packets of question papers. Answer scripts are then distributed amongst the candidate, and they at once fall to writing their names, roll and registration numbers on the title page of the scripts. At the appointed hour, as the bell rings, the question papers are handed to the candidates. They are read hurriedly from top to bottom, and the faces of the candidates quickly change. Some become white through nervous fear, some are dazed, some look blankly at the ceiling, some beam with satisfaction. A sudden hush falls upon the hall. Only the soft, slow sound of the invigilator's footsteps can be heard. It is seen that some are biting their pens and writing nothing. Some are writing out the answers with ease, while some other are scribbling something with knitted brows. At time, as time moves on, a candidate in corner rises and wants a glass of water in a feeble voice. The bearers are always on the run to supply what the students want. Some are restive and fidget all the time, looking this way or that. Some leave the hall midway, murmuring that the questions are unusually stiff. Some of the students try to whisper some answers and are promptly warned. Some again scribble something on a piece of blotting paper and try to pass it to others. They are sharply rebuked and pulled up. Time is wearing away rapidly. Half an hour is to go when the final bell rings. An air of anxiety seems to descend on the hall. Some have finished writing their answers and are revising them. Some of them find that several questions are yet to be answered. They look flurried. One candidate in his nervousness faints outright and is taken out of the room. The bearers are seen moving round the benches with thread and needle to stitch loose sheets. At long last the time is over and there is a sound and sudden ruffle in the calm atmosphere. The answer scripts are collected. Some pray for 1 minute's extension to finish the lines they have begun, but the plea is ignored and the papers are sometimes pulled away. When the examination is over, the examinees gradually stream out of the hall. Some of them, however, behave in a strange manner. They thump the benches and shout curses on the paper setters. Some again complain that the invigilators were unnecessarily rude to them. While some hotly discuss the questions, some others wear long faces as they learn that their answers have been wrong. In the wearing mood, they melt away. 14th. Future of English in India. Points. When first introduced, its effects, present position, your views. It was during the time of Lord Bentinck as Governor-General that English was first introduced in India. The proposal had met with strong opposition from many influential quarters, but thanks to Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Lord Macaulay, it received the Governor-General's approval in 1835. Over 172 years have passed since then. That the measure has done good to our country by throwing open to us through English the vast storehouse of knowledge in different parts of the world is admitted on all hands. But page number 728. But the situation has changed now, and there is a widespread demand all over India for instruction through the mother tongue. This is natural in these days for every self-respecting people. In fact, steps have already been taken in this direction in all the states of India, so that the light of knowledge may reach every citizen, however humble he or she may be. But English has been still retained as a compulsory subject of study from the secondary education stage in every state. I am strongly of opinion that it should continue as such for many more years to come for our own good. No doubt, it is a foreign language, the language of our late masters, but knowledge is above all territorial considerations. English is the most widely read language in the present day world and is a subject of study even in some other independent countries where it is not the mother tongue of the people there. The need for learning English is born out of the fact that Indian engineers and scientists owe their great success in the fields of information technology and software exports to a good command over English language. Because of this highly professional and innovative contributions and ability to communicate in English, unlike scientists in many other countries, Indian software professionals have earned a high degree of esteem and they are in great demand round the world. A large number of foreign organizations have opened up back offices in India for works on business progress outsourcing, call centers, etc., thereby opening up vast employment opportunities. It has also to be borne in mind that none of our regional language is developed enough to fit as vehicles for higher studies, particularly in scientific subjects. No doubt, some strides have been made since independence, but much yet remains to be done. There is yet another very important consideration for the retention of English as a subject of study. Ours is a vast land where different people speak different tongues. Most of the people of our state cannot understand the language of another state. This makes it impossible for communication of ideas and growth of a feeling of oneness among the masses in different parts of India. English forms the link language, and to abolish it at this stage will be suicidal from the national point of view.